The title of this chess lecture is When is it bad to check in chess? I think a common mistake that beginners make is that they put the king in check. They put their opponent's king in check in a position where it actually is a bad move and doesn't help your overall pieces, and it can actually make your position worse by making it harder to develop or wasting time. So I just wanted to go through a few examples of that. So this is a common position of the French exchange variation, and in this position there's two different kinds of check that are both bad that I wanted to analyze, and the first one is bishop to b4 check. And now I did want to say one thing about putting your opponent in check is it's often an emotional response to a position in chess is if you don't feel confident about how you're doing, that you make over-aggressive attacking moves, or you put your opponent in check because for one move you feel comfortable that your opponent has to respond, but it's short-term thinking and it doesn't really help the game. So just because you can give a check doesn't mean that it's a good move, doesn't mean it'll lead to checkmate. So you have to analyze what will happen afterwards. In this position, now obviously if white moved their king, they would lose the right to castle, and that wouldn't be very good. Or they might even block with the knight, but the best move that white can make is pawn to c3. And this move is good because now the bishop has wasted time, and white has gotten a move in by just putting this pawn here, and it's actually not very useful. So so if you can, make it seem like it's a waste of time, that would be a good strategy for white. And now the other check I wanted to go through was, let's say, queen to e2 check, e7 check, and this move is also a bad move. It's that type of move that you just want to get a little comfort with because it puts the king in check and you feel like you have a little more control over the game. However, white can just bring the bishop back, and it's actually not that good because now it's going to take a lot of time to get this bishop out. And what is the queen really doing on e7 if it can't win? It can't really win material, and now black could easily lose this game just by playing this move. If they're not careful now, let's say they just bring the knight out, and now maybe g6. Now when the rook comes to e1, like you can see that this check wasted a lot of time. If bishop g7, then maybe bishop to b5, and white's doing pretty good in this position because they're way better developed, and they're going to start attacking possibly this knight by going here. So this queen move right here is a bad move, and I would be happy to play against moves like this because they don't help black, and they actually harm the development. Now I wanted to go through one more check that is not a good check. Here's another example of when it's a bad check to give. This move, queen to e6 check, it looks good, but it actually is not good because this pawn is being blocked, and the bishop can come here, and now black has to spend extra time to get either this pawn moved or this pawn moved so they can get this bishop out. And so that's an example of a bad check. Now this move is not as bad because it doesn't block the pawn, but so it's not as bad. But I wanted to go through one more example, which was a game I had where my opponent gave check, and it ended up being a really bad move. So this was a game I played in high school, and it's only like 7 moves. Um, so yeah, I was pretty happy afterwards. So I played d4, and now maybe you can guess the move. My opponent played bishop to b4 check. And this is a bad move because, first of all, I'm attacking this pawn right now, and it kind of ignores it. Now I played pawn to c3, and now you can see the bishop has to run, and I'll just show the rest of the game because it's 2 more moves. But you can see how now I've gotten this move in, and they spent 2 moves just to go from here to here, and I can now capture this pawn. And now they captured this pawn, and then I played this move here, queen to d5, which threatens checkmate and attacks the knight. And now you can see how you just get more problems when you play moves that don't coordinate your pieces, like bishop to b4 check. And my opponent actually just played this move, bishop b6, and then the game was over. And so he had set up and immediately put away the pieces because the game was over. But this was the start of the problems, and it's a common mistake. So just when you try to put your opponent in check, just try to think of the next move ahead. Does it really help your position? If it makes the king move, like if I had to do this, then it would be pretty good because then I wouldn't have time to get my attack going, but in this position, it's not the case.